Yo, what up, gentlemen syndicate, nation? This is your boy, Big Homie, Martel. Um, this is my first podcast. I'm kind of getting into this space. I've had a lot of opportunities throughout my career. I'm in the military to talk about some things and things that I've gone through. And I really just want to introduce kind of some of my background and what I've been through and kind of what this channel is about. First off, the purpose of this channel really is to network with other men. Because there's a lot of men out there struggling with a lot of different things. Man, we go through a lot of trials and tribulations that put us in places, dark places, whether it be divorce. I'm active duty military. I'm a firefighter. I've been in almost 18 years now. Uh, Seen a lot of traumatic things. Done a lot of things. Been Iraq, Afghanistan, traveled the world, lived overseas about 21 years of my life. So I've been exposed to a lot of different cultures, and the one thing that resonates amongst the different cultures of men that I've been around is we all kind of similarly deal with the pain of life. And I often like to look at pain as a process. Pain isn't always bad. It's bad when you put it into something negative, right? And you keep it in there and you ruminate on that. But through my life, I've kind of gone through a journey of pain and suffering that I've been able to start learning how to leverage. And I've got many homies around the world that I want to introduce into this podcast, and have these interviews and discussions and what we can do to connect better as men. And just be able to open up some of those thoughts because I've had some homies kill themselves, suicide, right? Um, and it's important to know that you're not alone. There's men out there that have been there, done that, and doing it. And this is a place for us to talk about these things and deal with it. So I grew up I'm a military brat, man. A lot of people ask me in the military. I teach right now. Where are you from? Where are you from? Where are you from? I always go back. I'm like, honestly, I'm a military brat. Been everywhere. My family, my parents, they divorced when I was like 4 or 5 years old. Moved all around the world. Just went to 8, 9 different schools, something like that. Just always high and by, right, with people. So I never had the experience of growing up with having true like childhood friends type stuff, man. It's always been, hey, what's up? And boom. Met some people here and there from back in the day when I was a kid that joined the military and stuff. But for the most part, I joined the military and it's like, this is me. I'm here. So joined the military when I was 21 years old, chose to go active duty, firefighter, got blessed with that opportunity, being guaranteed firefighter. So, that was a whole other journey, getting to that point, but uh, did it, got it. First duty station was Germany, Spangdahlem. And, young single man, just figuring out life, went to Iraq, traveling, partying, doing all the crazy stuff, and learning to kind of grow up. And then from there, I went on to Korea. I was at Osan. For those that know, Uh, then from Osan, I went over to Okinawa, Japan. Love that place. Love the food. Miss the soba. I miss the people, the locals. The Okinawan culture is just something that was amazing and captivated me. Um, I was married at that point when I got there. Had our first kid over there. Had some really went down on some really hard times over there with a good friend of ours who was killed, line of duty death. Man, that really started my journey to this back in 2011. But we'll get into that as we grow into this channel and stuff. But from there, I went to Germany. Had my second kid over there. Amaya, first child was Naraya. Uh, I was at Ramside at that point. Had great opportunities over there. to travel all around Europe, teaching rescue, sword flag, and working with all the different partnering allied nations. Then went to Hawaii, Hickam, working with the Navy out there, fed fire. Um, some stuff went over there too, dealing with the job. I was in Afghanistan as well before that, deployed from um Okinawa, Kadena. And so then, I chose to come to, West Texas. So here I am, trying to finish out my career uh, as being a firefighter, ending it where I started. So, and, as I go through this process of kind of getting into how I got to where I'm at, um, there's something that really resonated and hit me hard as because I went through a divorce. Uh, she ended up going back to Germany. She's, German. And that brought a lot of pain, a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, and there's always two sides of the story. But, I love my kids more than anything. And I wish I had better opportunities to, be in their lives and be part of that. But, people make decisions, whether you agree with them or not, which I didn't agree with the move, but, I wouldn't keep her from her family. So, but at the same time, she chose what she chose, and here I am. And I went through some real dark. I got to a point where I caught shingles, man, like, because I was so stressed and angered. I had 4 or 5 different jobs at one point, could never make enough. And I was just in some dark places that, brought up a lot of different things. And as I was going through the journey of pain, pain is a process, as I believe, I started, I had some people in my life, my dad in particular, my mom, and some really close homies around the world that like always were there and, helped me drastically. Nate Milan, love you, brother. Big one. Madiak, Philip, another one, big homie. Um, and some others out there too that, but those two in particular, man, I was really, AJ Shin, big homie, right? He's a little big homie though. But, they were the 3 men that I really, really reached out to and tapped into and were there and supportive, man, in so many ways that, I kind of, want to tip my hat off to them and say, I appreciate you, man, because you guys were critical and came in clutch in some things and sometimes. And my pops, man, that OG, the big homie, what I'm saying, he's had a life. I'm gonna interview him too. I might have to cut out some stuff, man, because he's crazy like me. But the apple don't fall too far from the tree, as I've always told him. But I love my pops, man. He's been that soldier in my life, man. He's been the one that I've, thought I was trying to, be me and do me, but in reality, man, I was kind of following some of his footsteps. And as I started, getting out and suffering in this pain that I was going through, he was like, boy, you ain't the only one, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? You know how it is when we're talking about our pops, man, and, boys, man, we always challenge them. That's what a good father does, right? A good father checks you. He gave me some gut checks. He gave me some realities of life and great wisdom, man. So I love him to death, man. And he's been critical in setting me up for the process of pain. So as we kind of get into later on and go through this stuff, man, I'm going to be talking about all of these things, but I just kind of wanted to get out and kind of introduce myself into this community of podcasting. But it's really not about me. I just want to have a platform to reach out to the homies out there, in particular the military community, man, because there's a lot of divorce, high divorce rates in the military community. And, we suffer. These men suffer, man. And there's some crazy stories out there. And I want to interview them. I want to talk about it and society and how society is kind of trying to diminish the role of men and fathers out there. And, in reality, we have a very distinct role, our role and our purpose in life with our families and our kids, is to toe the line of a boundary, right? Having boundaries and fighting for what is right, and not shirking from our duties, man. I do believe being a father and being a husband, or any relationship that you have as a man, there's extreme accountability in your responsibilities. And that kind of defines masculinity for me, right? Being able to understand and know what your responsibilities are, and even though my kids aren't here, I still plan for a future with them. I try and get out to see them when I can, despite all the inner workings, which I'm not going to get too deep into, man, because like I said, I'm not here to talk about, women issues and none of that stuff and what they do and don't do. But we as men know, as we'll get into these interviews and find out, like, they're out to get you, they're out to get you. Society's out to get you. The women that, choose to not be with you and want to hurt you and harm you, they'll go as low as they can. Right. So we all know that, the ones that have been there and suffering and gone through it. But I'm here to talk about what we do as men and how we can better ourselves, man. Because, girls do it. Girls have been doing it when they're little girls, networking. They network. This is why some girls can believe what they believe, even if they're completely wrong. They'll have a friend, a homegirl that will, you're right, don't worry, blah blah blah. Men, nah, we're taught, we're shown that, hey, the value that you bring to the team, or the job or the environment that you're in, is what you're being judged upon. And if you bring no value, you're worthless, and that's not true. The truth is all these entrepreneurs didn't do anything on their own. They really didn't. They had a network of men, or entrepreneurs around them to help get them focused in the right direction. So surrounding yourself around a table of men that are there, that are supportive, is clutch, man. And I want to get into that, dive into that, and understand the dichotomy of all that and how that works and how that uh, help uplift us to getting out of that dark place, man. But I do believe that everybody has to go through pain, especially for men. We got to go through that pain, but because that pain is it lets you know, it helps to define you, and refine you, to being better. So, yeah, again, I was married for 12 years, with that person for 14. Won't even speak on her name, man. But my part in it, I was going through a lot of dark stuff with PTSD, dealing with the things that I've dealt with, and it hurt my relationship because it was difficult. As firefighters, we see a lot of stuff, and we do a lot of things that we don't talk about. And early on in my career, talking about this stuff wasn't a thing. I seen a lot of crazy stuff in Iraq. And you don't talk about those things because you don't want to be a burden to somebody, especially the ones that you love, right? You got to show that you're there, and but in reality, you're just hurting on the inside, and it kind of festered in some stuff, and so that was a big part. My part in the dissolution of my marriage was, I was dealing with PTSD, but the reality is, I started getting help. I started understanding and learning and growing in certain things and areas that allowed me to do what I was supposed to do to better myself. Sorry, but getting back to it, you know, dealing with pain, man, and how uh, we normalize silence, how we normalize, removing ourselves from truly dealing with it, like truly feeling it, by getting in our hobbies, by, some people drink, playing video games to escape the reality of the pain, right, man? And there's that moment in time for me when I couldn't escape it. when my kids left June 21st, 2022, I had to drive them from where I'm at here in Texas all the way down to Dallas, which is a 4-hour drive, knowing that I'm dropping them off at the airport where their mother is taking them all the way to Germany to live whatever life she thought is better. I was faced with that for that 4-hour drive, thinking about that, dealing with that, trying to save face, trying to maintain a smile, knowing like my kids are going away and, their mother is doing what she's doing, man, just to hurt me, I felt like. And that was hard. Still is hard. I'm an ATM to my kids now. That's what they think. I'm just an ATM, which sucks because it's not true. I call them as much as I can, but which I usually call them about 4 to 5 times a week, but they don't even answer the phone most of the time. Trying to talk to them, trying to, see how they're doing, if they need anything, but then that's being guarded behind somebody in their ear telling them other things that aren't true, or I call it manipulation, but she'll call it something else. But that pain right there, man, trying to show your kids that you love them when you can't, I've been reduced in my authority. My authority with them has been reduced to they could hang up on me. Nope, this is what mom says, and da da da. And I can't even. I won't. I chose not to engage in a conversation with my child that would, pit them versus their mother versus me. I won't do that. I just want to love my kids, and that's it. And that's all I can do right now. So, I went through things to make sure that that's all they know is that I love them at the end of the day. And I'll always love them. And Kaya, Mariah, and Maya, I love y'all with all my heart. I'm always there for you. I'm going to get out to y'all soon, regardless of what support I get or not. I'll be there because I love you. But yeah, so as we kind of continue on, why this channel, want to reiterate why we as men need to have boundaries, what we need to do to nurture some of those networks, and embracing kind of what discipline is, man. And like the thing I think about, with my pops, man, he had very strict boundaries, especially with me. I'm talking, I'd come home from college, just to go down and, stay with him for, a week or so, or on Christmas vacation, whatever. I remember one time I had, it was like hot, right? It was hot in the house, and it was during the summer or something like that. It was hot, man. And I had moved the temperature like 2 degrees. This man comes in here straight tripping on me about moving it 2 degrees, dude. He was like, "This is my house, boy." Like just going off. And I'm sitting there like, dude, what? But he had a boundary, because guess what? He paid the bills. I'm here for a little short time. You know what I'm saying? Like, and those things growing up, I didn't think about like I just thought he was, being anal retentive, but no, he had his boundaries. And there are other things I can go into later, but he just wouldn't budge, and that's something that I didn't fully understand until after my divorce. Crazy, but wish I would have knew it before. But boundaries, man, that's one of those things that men, that's the hill that we will die on, is, hey, I am not going to change my character. I will not change my values to appease to society, to appease to an emotion. If it's right, it's right. And that's what I mean. So I want to rediscover what all of those things are tied to, right? Which leads to like the capacity for us to serve others. As men, that's what we do. That's what any good man does that with his wife, his kids, the people he works with, the people who work for him. Servant servant leadership is something I wholeheartedly believe in. I believe in the Bible and Jesus Christ, right? And God, which some of that stuff will come through in some of these discussions. But this is important. This is important, man. Like, we are to lead the future, our children, and our peers and our brothers and our sisters, right? In knowing what it means to serve one another, man. Because, dude, I'm willing to sacrifice my life for my kids, man. I'll do anything I can for that. And I'll gladly do it. But there's a lot of things out there, man, where men are shirking from those duties. They're shirking from, stepping up and leading and maintaining the frame and boundaries. So, but again, there's a whole lot of stuff I can keep going into, man. I don't want to keep blabbing on, but I just wanted to introduce me and kind of where I'm at and where I'm going. And, I'm going to watch this channel hopefully grow, bring on a lot of the homies to have these interviews and discussions and one-on-ones and, just talk about how we can connect and network as a group of men. And fellowship and knowing and understanding that pain is a process that we must go through, right? To be able to get to another level, to be refined and be better. So thank you the gentleman out there listening, and I appreciate your time. Subscribe to the channel, and this is me, Big Homie, and then stay tuned for more. Plan on kicking out some more interviews. Honestly, really, that's what I want to do, is a lot of interviews about what we need to do as men. So appreciate the time, and holler at y'all later.